Hi, my name is Sanjiv Bhatia, and I have been involved with leadership and coaching for the last few years. I started my coaching journey about a year and a half ago with TPC leadership. I was encouraged by one of my friends to take this up, and it turned out to be a very good piece of advice. Um, as I progressed on my coaching journey, I felt the need that over a period of time, I wasn't exactly being able to focus on what my key areas of strength were and what were the areas where my challenges lay. So I decided that I needed some advice, and by God's grace, I was able to contact Jaya Bhateja, and she encouraged me to get into a coaching and mentoring program. And thankfully, she agreed to be my mentor coach, and it was an amazing experience to do the mentorship program with her. She has been involved with in this space for quite a bit right now. The best part was that when we did this 10 session mentoring assignment, it was very well spaced out. The sessions were about 1 hour, which was not a challenge at all. About 45 minutes were about practice and 15 minutes about feedback. But what I noticed over the um, first 5 or 6 sessions was that there were certain internal changes that were happening. And the best part is people around me started noticing those changes. I remember calling up one of my bosses and speaking to them, and after we had spoken for about half an hour, my boss actually turned around and asked me, "What's changed?" And I asked him, "Well, you tell me, I won't know." And he turned around and said, "Well, I haven't seen you this focused for a very long time. And it is strange that I've been speaking for about the last half an hour and you're just listening, listening, and listening." I My response to him was that I really wanted to focus on the conversation. And at this point in time in the conversation, there was no need for me to speak, but there was a need for me to listen, to understand, and to respond accordingly. That's when I realized that how this mentoring program actually helped me. It helped me focus on what my needs during a conversation were. If the need was to ask a question, I would ask a question. If the need was to respond with a statement, I would do that. And if the need was just to keep quiet and listen, I was able to do that as well. It helped me internalize and focus on what was the other person's need more than what my issues were. Um, Another instance where things really radically changed was about a couple of weeks later after having finished my mentoring course. I was speaking to a dear friend of mine who happens to be a senior gentleman, and he was basically counseling me or mentoring me in the conversation about what I need to do. And his heart's desire was to help me, and he was just firing off one idea after another, and a lot of them made sense. After about 1 hour and 15 minutes into the conversation, he turned around and asked me, "So, what's your decision?" And he said, "Well, what do you take away from this conversation?" And I quickly noted down 2 or 3 points, which I told him, "Sir, these are the three things that I focused on, and these are the three things that I need to do." That was again a light bulb moment for me. Great idea. I just realized that in that 1 hour and 15 minutes that I was speaking to him in that conversation, I was supposed to receive the feedback. I was supposed to be the one who was asking for help. And he was speaking for about an hour or maybe 45 minutes. And I just realized that in that conversation where I just got about 10 sentences in, or maybe 15, um, I had actually coached myself. Now, that was again a great achievement, because usually in those kind of conversations, where it's a no holds barred conversation, it's just having a conversation. um, we usually tend to speak our heart out, and we usually tend to speak our mind out, and nobody is supposed to be focusing on the nitty gritties of the conversation. But I just realized that in that conversation as well, which was not a coaching conversation, I was able to coach myself. um, it's been a real blessing, this course that I've done. In the 10 sessions that I've attended, I've noticed a lot of changes that have happened. around me, I'm able to focus a lot more on the needs of the conversation. I've been able to understand what my position in the conversation is. And as regards what are the benefits of doing the mentoring program, those benefits have come by way of feedback that have come from my dear colleagues, my friends, and my family. And that in itself is like one of the greatest recommendations or awards or accolades that one can receive. When somebody else turns around and tells you, well, this is what we've noticed, and whatever you're doing is really working for you. And those are the words that were actually spoken to me by a dear colleague of mine who said, well, whatever you're doing, it's really working. Um, Sadly, for this upcoming mentoring course, I would not be able to join in. But my heart's desire is that probably in this coming year, whenever the time permits, I would surely want to be part of another mentoring session, because I believe there's a lot of value addition that happens. There's a lot of learning that happens. There's also there are peer coaches over there, so they are able to add a lot of value. I had a fantastic group of people around me who were so supportive of my learning. It was unbelievable. It's like-minded people over there. They're all wanting to be part of a group that is going to synergize, that is going to co-create, and I don't think it can get any better than that. I highly recommend that coaches who want to really understand, I won't say finer nuances, but I would say other nuances of coaching to understand more about their journey, they should do this mentoring program. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Thanks.